I don't know how you will react when you hear this, but today I am finally going to say something I never thought I would say out loud. And honestly, my hands are shaking a little while speaking because I know the moment you hear it, something inside you will move, something will wake up, something will feel different. Because today I will tell you the country of my future wife, and I know you're already listening more carefully now. Your heartbeat has already changed a little. You're curious, you're wondering if I'm talking about you, and maybe I am. You know, every time I create a message like this, I feel you watching from somewhere far away. I don't know if you're sitting in your room, lying on your bed, traveling in a car, or secretly listening with headphones on, so no one knows. But I feel you. I feel the distance, but I also feel the connection that exists despite that distance. And today, that distance matters, because the country I am talking about might be yours. Before I say anything, let me tell you something honestly. People always ask me, what kind of girl do you want? They talk about beauty, education, lifestyle, background, family, but no one ever asks me the real question. Where does her heart live? Because that is more important than where her passport was printed. And you know something? I feel like your heart and mind have already spoken, even if your mouth has never said a single word. I don't need a message from you to know you are there. I don't need a comment to know you understand. There is a quiet connection between us, and it is more real than many relationships that talk every day, but feel empty on the inside. And that's why today, when I reveal the country of my future wife, I am not speaking as someone who has everything decided. I am speaking as someone who believes that love can cross borders, languages, cultures, and time zones. Because I don't care if you are 1 hour ahead of me or 12 hours behind. If I feel you, I feel you. And right now, I do. Maybe you are thinking, is he talking about my country? And maybe your heart even whispered, please say it. Please say it's mine. I want you to notice your heart reacted before your mind did. Because some part of you is already attached to this story, to my voice, to the idea that maybe, just maybe, you could be the one I am hinting about. Sometimes I imagine life from your side. Maybe you listen to me quietly because you don't believe someone like me would ever choose someone like you. But what if I already have? What if the country of my future wife is not about geography, but about the heart that responds when I speak? Let me tell you something that will pull you closer. I know she watches me. I know she listens even when she says nothing. I know she waits for the next video, even if no one else knows how much it affects her. And maybe, right now, that is you. Do you realize I notice the small details? The increase in views at a certain hour. The sudden retention spike in the middle of a sentence. The rewatch moment when someone rewinds because they felt something. I notice when someone hears my words with their heart, not their ears. And every time I see that, I whisper quietly to myself, she was here again. And that makes me smile. Now let me take you deeper. Think of the world map. All those countries scattered across oceans and borders. So much distance, so many differences, but somewhere on that map, there's one girl who I feel connected to, not because she speaks perfectly, not because she looks perfect, not because she lives in a big country or famous city, but because she understands me. And that understanding is something money cannot buy, education cannot teach, and luck cannot guarantee. So when I tell you the country of my future wife, I want you to hear it with your heart, not your mind. Because the country is not just geography, it is where the woman who matches my soul is breathing right now, maybe even watching this at this exact moment. And you know what? I believe she lives in the country where my voice has been reaching the deepest. The country where I feel the highest emotional response. The country of the woman who listens to me like she's hearing something she has been waiting for without knowing she was waiting. The country of the woman who maybe whispers to her screen, "I wish he knew." I know some people expect me to say a famous country, maybe America, maybe UK, maybe Canada. But no, I feel the woman I'm meant for is living in a place where hearts love deeply and silently, a place where women don't confess easily, but when they love, they give their entire soul, a place where emotions run quietly but powerfully, a place where a girl can watch a video without saying a word, yet her silence speaks volumes. And maybe that place is your country. Maybe you think I am being dramatic, but close your eyes and feel it. You are listening right now for a reason. You didn't click this video by accident. Your heart brought you here. Something inside told you this message might be for me. So let me say it in the simplest emotional truth possible. The country of my future wife is the country where the woman listening to this with a soft heart is living right now. Maybe that is India. Maybe Sri Lanka, maybe Bangladesh, maybe UAE, maybe Saudi Arabia, maybe USA, maybe UK, maybe Philippines, maybe Africa, maybe somewhere I haven't even been yet. But wherever you are, if your heart is reacting right now, if your silence already confesses more than your words ever could, then maybe I just revealed it, because maybe my future wife is living in your country. And maybe right now she is you, and this story is just beginning. When I finished speaking earlier, I paused for a moment and tried to imagine your face. I don't know what expression you had. Maybe you were smiling a little. Maybe you were serious. Maybe your heart was beating faster. Or maybe you were just sitting quietly, letting every sentence sink into you. But however you felt, I know one thing for sure. You were listening with more than just ears. You were listening with your heart. And that is why I needed to continue this today. Because there is still so much I want to say to you. And somehow it feels like you're ready to hear it. I want to go deeper into something simple but powerful. When I said my future wife's country might be your country, I didn't just say that casually. I meant it. Because I have had this strange, beautiful feeling for a long time that the person meant for me is not someone I already know closely. She is someone who has been watching, observing, and feeling something silently. And the silence between us is not empty. It is full of unspoken feelings, full of curiosity, full of something neither of us can name yet, but both of us can feel. And maybe that silence has become the secret bridge connecting your side of the world to mine. Every time I speak like this, I imagine you somewhere in your country holding your phone and thinking, he doesn't realize how close I feel to him right now. But maybe I do realize it. Maybe I feel that closeness even stronger than you know. Because it's not about where you live. It's about how deeply you feel. And you feel things deeply, don't you? You're the kind of woman who loves quietly, who hides her emotions to protect her heart, who stays strong even when she is tired, who has learned to carry her feelings alone, because people rarely ask how she is truly doing. And maybe that is why you connect with my words, because you finally hear someone speaking the way you wished someone would speak to you, softly, gently, sincerely, without fear. I want to confess something here, not because I need to impress you, but because I want you to know the truth. I never cared about what country my future wife would be from. People talk about nationality like it decides everything, but it doesn't. A passport does not tell me how she loves. A flag does not tell me how she cares. A map does not tell me how she feels. Your heart tells me, your silence tells me, your reaction tells me, and the way you stayed until this part tells me even more. And nothing in any government document or borderline can compare to that. Sometimes I imagine what it would be like if one day I finally traveled to your country, not for a tour, not for a holiday, not to explore famous places, but to meet the girl whose heart has been connected to mine without a single spoken conversation. Maybe I would land in the airport, tired from the flight, but excited. Maybe I would feel something as soon as I touched the ground, as if destiny was whispering, "She is here." Maybe the air would feel different. The sky would look softer. The environment would feel strangely familiar, even though it was new. And maybe it would be because you are breathing under the same sky. I imagine you hearing this and smiling slightly, maybe saying quietly to yourself, "If only that could happen." But who told you it can't? Why do we always assume that beautiful things are impossible? Why do we believe that distance means separation? That two people from different countries cannot connect? When did humans start trusting borders more than hearts? Because if a heart is truly meant to belong to someone, it will find a way to cross oceans, languages, and time zones. And maybe that is already happening between us, without you realizing how deep it has gone. Let me ask you something honestly, and I want you to answer it inside your heart. When you heard the title, when you heard the first lines, didn't something inside you hope, just a little, that the country I would reveal could be yours? Didn't a tiny voice inside you whisper, "Please let it be me"? If that happened, then you already felt what I am talking about. That small reaction is proof. Love starts like that. In small unplanned reactions, in moments that catch us by surprise, in silence that speaks louder than words. You know something? I have looked at the analytics of my channel. I know which countries watch me the most. I know which places stay the longest in my videos. I know where most of the emotional audience comes from. And sometimes I imagine that in one of those countries a girl sits every night and listens like I am speaking to her personally. I imagine that she is not just a viewer. She is a heart trying to stay hidden, but failing more and more as each message reaches deeper. And maybe that girl is you. Let me tell you why I feel so strongly. Because you have a rare kind of soul. I can sense it even through the screen. You are not like the people who come, scroll, listen for a second, and leave. Something makes you stay. Something makes you return. Something in my words feels like home to you. And that is not normal. That is not casual. That is not accidental. That is the universe trying to say something. I want you to imagine something with me. Just for a moment. Imagine that one day, years later, we are sitting together somewhere in your country. Maybe on a rooftop, maybe at a beach, maybe in a quiet cafe, maybe in your home or mine. And you tell me, "I used to listen to your messages in silence and I never imagined that one day you would actually be here." And maybe I smile, look at you softly, and say, "I always felt you before I ever saw you." Can you imagine how powerful that moment would be? Can you imagine the beauty of meeting not as strangers, but as two people who were already connected long before they met? Sometimes I think about how love works in today's world. People fall for faces on screens. They develop feelings through pixels and voices. And everyone says, "That's not real." But who decides what is real? If a woman listens to someone every night and her heart beats differently, is that not real? If a man speaks with sincerity and one person somewhere in another country feels seen and understood, is that not real? If two souls react to each other without ever meeting, is that not something deeper than most relationships we see around us? And that is why, when I revealed that my future wife's country might be the country of the woman who is listening right now, I said it with complete seriousness. Because love does not start when two people meet. Love starts when two hearts recognize each other, sometimes long before the meeting ever happens. And I feel that recognition growing every day when I speak, and you listen quietly from wherever you are. I want to share something personal that I haven't said before. Sometimes late at night, when everyone is sleeping and the world is silent, I sit with my phone, read the comments, see the reactions, and think to myself, one of these women might be the person I spend the rest of my life with. It sounds crazy, but it also sounds honest. Because someone out there is already connecting in a way that even words cannot fully explain, and maybe that someone is you. I know you have doubts. I know your mind asks questions like, what if he is talking to someone else? What if I am just overthinking? What if I am not the one? But your heart doesn't ask those questions. Your heart just reacts, and the heart is rarely wrong. Your feelings are the compass. Your silence is the confession. Your presence here is the proof. Now let me ask you something that you may have never asked yourself. If you were not the woman meant for me, then why are you still here? Why are your eyes still reading this? Why is your heart still beating differently? Why does this message feel personal to you? Why does it sound like I am speaking directly to your soul? Because maybe I am, and maybe you already knew that, even before I said it. I imagine you hearing this right now, in your country, maybe at night, maybe in the morning, maybe in the middle of a busy day, and thinking, if only he knew. But I do know, I know more than you think. I know how emotional you are. I know how deeply you care. I know that you hide more than you show. I know that you love with intensity, but speak with caution. I know that you have been hurt before. I know that your heart is strong, but also tired of being strong. And maybe deep inside, you just want someone to say, you don't have to be strong all the time. I see you. So let me say it, from my heart to yours. I see you. I feel you. And no distance, no ocean, no border, no country line can change that. Because when two souls connect, their countries simply become coordinates on a map, not limitations. And I feel something powerful happening between us. Something that does not need labels right now. Something that does not need answers today. Something that simply needs time to grow. So I'm not ending this story. I'm not closing this chapter. I'm not putting a full stop here. Because I want to continue speaking, and I want you to continue listening, until one day, the distance between your country and mine is no longer distance at all. I have to be honest with you because by now you already know that I do not like hiding anything from you. When I was sitting alone after everything that happened last night, I was thinking about you again. I was thinking about the way your silence speaks louder than thousands of sentences. I was thinking about how you listen to me even when the world is noisy around you. And the more I thought about it, the more I realized something deeper. I cannot imagine my journey without you. I don't know when it happened. And maybe I don't even need to know, but I have reached a point where you are not just a listener, you are becoming a part of me. I want to tell you something I never told anyone. Sometimes I worry that you will think I am too attached, too emotional, or too serious. But I am not ashamed of how I feel. Your presence in my life has changed something inside me. I don't talk to millions of people online. I talk to one heart. And for me that one heart has become you. I talk to you because you are the one who understands without judging, who listens without interrupting, who cares without demanding anything in return. You know, sometimes I sit and imagine how it would feel if I could sit in front of you, for real, in person, and talk to you the same way I talk through this screen. I imagine your eyes, your smile, the way your hands hold your phone or your laptop while listening. I imagine you sitting there, maybe on your bed, maybe on your desk, maybe with a cup of tea, and I imagine myself saying all of this while looking at you directly. Just the thought alone takes my breath away because it feels so real. I also know that right now you might be asking yourself something. Why does he feel so much? Why is he opening his heart like this? Why is he talking as if I am the only woman in his life? And if you are thinking that, then let me answer you with honesty, because I am not here to play with your time or your heart. I am here because you made me feel something I was not expecting. Your presence makes me speak differently, think differently, and feel differently. You are not just another listener, you are someone I am holding inside my thoughts, even when the camera is off and the lights are shut down. I know you are listening right now, and I also know that at this moment your heart may be beating a little faster. You may be feeling something you did not expect to feel. Maybe a part of you is scared. Maybe a part of you is happy. Maybe a part of you is still confused. And I want you to know it's okay. You don't need to have all the answers right now. You don't need to understand everything today. Just feel it. Just breathe. Just let your heart know that someone somewhere is thinking deeply about you. When I started sharing my thoughts about telling you the country of my future wife, I knew that it would create questions in your mind. I knew you would wonder if I was talking about you, if you were included in that thought, if you were someone I could imagine in my future. And the truth is, yes, I cannot lie. When I think about the woman I want to marry someday, I see someone with your heart, your nature, your softness, your silence, your attention, and your kindness. I don't know which country you belong to, and even if I do, I will not say it, because today is not about geography. It is about emotion. But I also want to admit something. There is one fear that follows me, and maybe you will understand this better than anyone. I am scared that one day you will wake up and decide that you do not want to listen anymore. I am scared that one day I will come here and you will not be there. I am scared that one day someone else will enter your life, take your time, and I will become a memory you once used to listen to. And that fear keeps me thinking, what if I do not say things before it's too late? What if you never know that you mattered more than you think? You may not realize this, but you have changed the direction of my thoughts. Before this, I used to speak generally, casually, normally. But now, when I talk with care, with truth, with heart, with weight. I talk as if the words are not just going to your ears, but straight into your soul. You have pushed me to speak with honesty, and I thank you for that, because not everyone makes someone comfortable enough to speak from the heart. Sometimes I imagine what you must have been through in life. I imagine the moments where you cried silently, the nights where you couldn't sleep, the days where you smiled even though your heart was heavy. I imagine the disappointments you never shared with anyone. And when I imagine it, my heart wants to be able to hold your hand, even if only in words, and tell you you did not survive all of that for nothing. You are here, you are listening, and your heart is still pure. That alone makes you special. You know what else I imagine? I imagine the moment when you finally allow yourself to believe that someone actually sees you. Not the world, not social media, not strangers, but me. I imagine the moment where you realize that you are not invisible, that someone actually thinks of you, talks to you, and considers your presence valuable. If that moment has not happened yet, I hope it happens now. While you are listening to this, I want to take you somewhere with my words for a second. Imagine this. The night is calm, the world is quiet, the wind outside your window is soft, and everything around you is still. And in that silence, you close your eyes and you hear only one voice, mine. You hear me telling you that you are not alone. You hear me telling you that you are important. You hear me telling you that your existence makes someone speak from the heart. Just imagine that feeling, that softness, that closeness, that connection. I am saying these things because I want you to feel something that most people forget. You deserve to be loved in a way that touches your soul. Not love that is loud or temporary. Not love that is a show, but love that makes you breathe differently, think differently, and see life with new colors. And maybe, just maybe, that love could be mine. But I also want to be very real with you. Love is not something I want to force on you. I don't want you to feel that I am putting pressure. I don't want you to feel that I am expecting something in return. I want you to feel that whatever is happening between us right now is natural, honest, and without conditions. If tomorrow you decide that all you want is to listen, then I will talk. If tomorrow you decide you want distance, I will respect it. If tomorrow you want to walk closer, I will hold your hand. I am not here to trap you. I am here to value you. But let me also ask you a question. Has anyone ever spoken to you like this before? Has anyone ever made you feel that you are not just a listener but the center of the moment? Has anyone ever made your heart race without even being in the same room? Because if the answer is yes, then you already know how rare this is. And if the answer is no, then maybe this moment is the first time it is happening to you. I know right now your heart is reacting. I know that your mind is giving questions. I know that your soul is listening more than your ears. And I want you to stay with me in this moment for just a little longer, because there is still something more I want to tell you. I have a belief that feelings are messages sent by destiny. When something feels unusually deep, unexpectedly close, unbelievably real, maybe it has meaning. Maybe it is not just coincidence. And that is why I am talking to you like this today. I want you to feel something that you might not have felt in a long time. Someone choosing you. Someone putting words into emotions because of you. Someone thinking of you, not as part of a crowd, but as someone who matters individually. You matter. Maybe you have heard this sentence before, but maybe no one ever said it with intention. I am saying it with intention. You matter. And I think you are starting to feel it too. Your silence right now is not empty. It is reacting. It is receiving. It is absorbing every word I am saying. And there is still more I want to reveal. But I will tell you that in the next part, because your heart needs a moment to breathe before I say what comes next. Would you stay with me for that? I want you to sit with one thought for a second. You are here right now, listening to me, and that already means more than you realize. I do not need thousands of people listening. I just need you. And this moment, where your heart is focused on my words, is something I never want to take for granted. I want you to feel that I am speaking to you, not through a screen, but straight from my heart into yours. What I wanted to tell you next is something delicate. When I said that feelings are messages from destiny, I meant it. Sometimes we meet someone without planning, without expecting, without preparing, and yet they start living inside us. Maybe that is what happened with us. I don't know when it happened, but one day I realized that I think about you even when the recording stops. I think about whether you are okay, whether you slept well, whether you are eating properly, whether your heart is calm or heavy today. That may sound strange, but it is real. I don't know what country you live in. I don't know what city you are in right now. I don't know whether you are listening from your room, your workplace, your study desk, or your bed. But the truth is, distance doesn't stop connection. Countries don't decide hearts. Maps don't control destiny. Sometimes two souls cross paths without passports, without borders, without visas. And when that happens, something beautiful begins. Maybe you are that beginning for me. And maybe I am that beginning for you. I won't end this with a conclusion, because this story is not over. It is still unfolding, still breathing, still growing, just like whatever is happening between us. So don't go anywhere. Stay with me, because the next chapter is still waiting.